Yes, yes, we are. We're going to talk about the Kershaw dividend. And I think there's a lot of dividends in that conversation. Oh, and here we go. See, we're keeping it dry. Right out of the, well, I repack it in the box like it came because I want to. Keep it fresh, keep it minty. And this one's going to Sweden, by the way. I saw this at 2020 SHOT Show in January, and yeah, I like it. I like that composite blade thing. Is it just a little bit too novelty or, kitschy? I don't know. When they did this kind of thing 5-6 years ago, that was one thing. Do they need to do it now? Probably not, but it's interesting, isn't it? So I think, what did they do? The Junkyard Dog? Something like that in the composite, some other things. But, oh, that was a good knife too. God, I have to look for one of those. Deep carry pocket clip. Right or left hand, tip up or tip down. Made in the USA, Bohler N690 across here. This is CPMD2. Kind of weird that they don't say Bohler N690, but I think they got it probably billboarded enough here, a little bit here, there. Although, see, that doesn't bother me, but it bothers a lot of other people. God forbid you put your name on your own manufactured knife. That's just an insult, isn't it? I don't know. To me, this doesn't bother me. It's kind of like putting patches on a uniform. Yeah, the more the better, but not in cases of knives. But a little badging kind of makes it kind of stand out. So, no, I don't mind. And, I like to look at I know what I'm looking at. And if it's not like a Kershaw, but if it was some other less known brand, I'd go, what model number is it? So there you go with that. But this is fine. And the dividend for 2020, this particular model now is different than before, correct? Because if you look at previous iterations of the dividend, well, where's all the fancy work there, Mike? You ain't got none. Now you do. You got all this cutaway here and down here and these little cut throughs going here, 1, 2, 3 triple tags there. So front and back machining, where it was just very, very plain. Now, the same with the link. Before, the link was just all homogeneous. Now it's done the same kind of way. Have you noticed? So that's cool. And talk about a dynamic duo right here. I think this is well worth, first of all, having, carrying, and the money. It's the money as well. I mean, you're talking $80, $79, and White Mountain Knives discount gets you down to $72 free shipping for either of this. 20 CV, CPM 20 CV made in America. This one, the composite made in America. So I think that's something to crow about. People ask me, yeah, just you got any ideas of any knives under $100 with good steel on them? Well, I don't know, say what you want about CPM D2, but if they're getting it in the U.S., this might be a higher vanadium content than a lot of the Chinese D2. So it'd be interesting to get a Vickers test and test the hardness of this edge. Because up here, that makes no difference. This is Bohler N690 here. I want to know how hard that is. And so that might be worth edge testing if you had the setup. I don't. There's your lockup. It's pretty reasonable, 25 to 30%. Steel liners. You've got bronze washers in there. If you caught the... Did you catch a look at them right there? Looking at you. And of course you got the spring. This is assisted opening that runs under the scale here. And I took the link apart. I took the scale off of this, and I mean, it was gooped up with white grease in there. I mean, thick as thieves. So, but there you go. Steel liners, deep carry, all the way around, light. It fits my hand, even though it's not a big knife. It's not very big. Let me show you. I've got another knife around here to compare to. How about the Lynn Thompson tie light? It's not even open. Okay? It's not even open. Can I get this far enough? Okay, so this is 13 inches overall, and this sure as hell isn't. But we can measure it. I think it's a 3 and a 7. It's 3 there. It's 7 1/4 overall length, 18.5 centimeters. And you can argue about maybe call it 3 1/4 or 3.2 inch blade, depending on where you want to go to. It's over 3. And I got mine from White Mountain Knives, $81 minus $8.10 LTK discount, $72 right in there, free shipping in the USA. Here's the stats: 7.25 overall, 4 1/4 close, 3-inch blade. That's what they're calling it. It's really over that. CPM D2, aluminum handle, and it's olive. It's anodized, speed safe assisted opening, 4-position, and liner lock. That good enough for you? Let's throw the scale down here. See all the, what are these doing here? Oh, I know, they want to be adopted. That's why they came out here. So if you want to adopt a koozie for a minimal cost, you know, we have to give them their shots and everything. So get a hold of me, lovethemknives at gmail.com. I don't have my, I've got everything else, so you can message me through my Instagram or just email me, lovethemknives at gmail.com, LUV. The Dividend. Do my commercial thing, because, you know, a koozie without a cold beer in it, that's a waste of a good koozie. How heavy is this? Not very. This is very, very light. There you go. 2.9, not even quite 3 ounces. 83 grams. Speed safe. Kicks open. You know, it's not unstable. It doesn't look funky. It looks centered, perfectly centered. Backspacer's kind of like the suspended looking deal there. And it's got a backspacer to it, so that's nice. It's got a gent flipper tab. And it's very intuitive, very easy to get to. Boom, kicks right open. The only problem that it doesn't have KVT bearings and non-assisted, or you could just, you know, you could just drop it. You know, you could just kick it and drop it. And then, you know, it'd be fun to do that kind of thing with it if you could. And if it had this kind of action, the Monarch, the 223 Tucson Monarch. But that being said, nice looking. Oh, I didn't compare. Well, here's the Asticus by Civivi. So this is almost 9 inches overall. Much smaller knife, isn't it? The Dividend. But you got a 3-inch blade and then a little on top of that, so it's pretty darn useful, but very thin here, which, let me show you. Okay, 0.36. That's way thinner than like a Paramilitary 2. 9.3 millimeters. Let's check the blade stock. 2.2 millimeters at 0.08 of an inch. Super lightweight. Ergos are okay. This here, being kind of a wide breech, keeps my fingers back away, so I feel like I'm kind of backed up, but it's a small knife where I can go like this if I want. And is it sharp? Well, let's cut on a piece of paper, see. Oh yeah, it's sharp. So what do you think about that? right out of the box. Nice stonewashy look. Very handsome with that copper or whatever that is in between the two. And I don't know how they do this composite fit. That's fascinating in itself, I guess, because I don't know. That's something I probably ought to study up on if there's information on exactly the process that they go through. You can see here where these screws come through from the front, but they don't have screws coming in from the back. The link does. So if you're interested in maybe a little bit of a comparison, this is 3 1/4 inches to here as opposed to 3.2. So it's a little bit longer blade. This is definitely thicker. This is 0.5 thick. This is 0.36. Big difference in the weight, the thickness. The blade length is close, not that much different. And overall length is not too far off. This is 7.6, I believe. Okay? But definitely a difference in the thickness and the weight and the thickness of the blade stock. I think this is like 3 millimeters, 2.8, something like that. So it's definitely thicker blade stock. This is CPM 20 CV, basically the same price as this knife. So if you really are all about the blade, you like to fill your hand out with a little bit more knife, I like the Link. Okay, that's the one I'd carry if I was going to do that on an EDC, everyday carry basis. This one is light, really almost a gent carry category. And you've got a lanyard hole in here as well. So you could do that nicely. Deep carry, disappears in your pocket. Super, super nice in that way. And the design's fine. The blade to handle length is good. The flow of the design is good. Nothing wrong with the Dividend. Nothing wrong with that at all. So Dividend is really cool. Like the Knockout as well, and the Link. They're 3 really cool knives. I like this olive color. I think it's great with the black hardware. And the fact that they've done this machining. They've really put some style into it now. And let's just take a look through the front scale. I mean, in the back it's that octagonal thing, so you can't really access it that way. But you can pull this off of here, like yay, okay? So then you got these screws, and they're all number 6s. It'd be nice if Kershaw would go with number 8s on all their screws. I think that'd be desirable in my book. That way, if you just brought a little pocket tool with you, all you have to do is have one size. That'd be really convenient. And some of these manufacturers make one, you know. So let's get this middle one in here. Quit fooling around. Okay, so we've got it. We've got this part pulled off, and of course this is where the spring goes through. And hold on, these screws go all the way through from the front, so I didn't do myself many favors that way, but could have pulled the back off. And this, okay, so the spring is completely disconnected now, as you can see. Here's the blade stop, back spacer. So you can tell on the blade you've got these washers, bronze washers, and that's pretty much it. You got that. You got these steel liners. There's your pivot. Okay, that's it. Everything goes through there. And of course you don't need to have a D-shaped pivot because you got this octagonal piece holding everything together, so you won't spin the pivot when you try and disassemble. But that's pretty simplistic. And they got some grease in here. They got it pretty darn greased up, for sure. Now we got this, and we're going to lay this in here. Okay. So I'm holding this sandwich together with this right now. Line this up with the back spacer. Take that second one in and put this third one in, and let's try that. Okay. No play. Yeah. Okay. That's centered. Yeah, that's interesting. You know, because you've got these screws that go all the way through. So when you pull them out, you pull the knife apart, you got to push your pivot pin through here. Then you've got to put your liner down. Then you've got to put your washer and blade and washer and spacer and stop, and then the next liner, and then you've got the spring who just wraps under here and then goes into the blade front. The problem is you have no screws from the back, so everything has to be held together, sandwiched together until you get the outer scale done, which means you already got the spring set in here and in the cutaway on the inside of the scale, and lay all that down and try and keep your backspacer holes lined up at the same time. So yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass, to tell you the truth. So, but it's doable. You can take it apart, you put it back together. There's no magic. It's just a matter of coordinating all the layers together, holding them together in the right position until you can actually lay down your screws going through the scale to the back. So, and there it is, your Kershaw Dividend composite blade. Thank you very much for hanging out. Hope you had as much fun as I hope you had more fun than I did. And you know what we do. We love them knives. So you guys stay sharp.